Everything that you're about to see in this video is connected. Oh, it may not seem like it at first, but they are. And I'll show you how they're connected. But to do so, we have to go back in time, specifically to 1989.
Rebecca Schaeffer was an up-and-coming star, and she starred in The Voyage of Terror, but was most known for doing 44 episodes of My Sister Sam. She was stalked and murdered by this idiot, Robert Bardo. On July 18, 1989, 19-year-old fan Robert John Bardo shot and killed Schaeffer at her home in West Hollywood. At the time of her death, she had been stalked by Bardo for 3 years. Bardo was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
I asked you, why are you here?
I said I'm taking photos.
Okay. Are you allowed on this accident scene? That's what I'm asking you.
You're asking me if I'm allowed to be here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you think?
Okay. I need you to leave, please.
I'm not going to leave.
Mendoza, your accident scene. You're taking pictures of other people's vehicles and license plates, which is against the law.
This is for air for people conducting business.
I was conducting business, ma'am.
Record people's personal license plates.
Okay, stupid officers, let's state the obvious. Okay, I won't record them. I'll just, jot them down in the palm of a hand. Oh, I don't know, maybe the back of an envelope. If that happens to be handy. But when all else fails, when it comes to license plate numbers, I'll just memorize the license plate number. I'm capable of doing that. Most people are, if they're sentient beings. But getting back to the serious side, when cops say stupid stuff like you can't film cars and license plates, they're actually granting cars and license plates a Fourth Amendment right to privacy, while at the same time completely denying a human being's actual Fourth Amendment guaranteed right to privacy. They are giving more weight to the privacy of cars and license plates than people. The first video, the one that showed the 2 idiot cops out of Lake Jackson, Texas, Cagle and that motorcycle officer, that's what this section in Rise of the Oathbreakers Part 2 is all about. It's because of Cagle and that moron motorcycle officer. They ended up beating up that journalist enough to put him in the ER. But it's why Section 21 is titled Sworn Guardian of Inanimate Objects. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all license plates are created equal under the Declaration of Independence. It's because of that story. It's showcased in Part 2. Once again, for the benefit of all the slow-witted morons in law enforcement, it's not a crime to film a car or license plate. The only reason they say stuff like that is when it benefits them in terms of making a false arrest, or in the case of Cagle and the moron motorcycle cop, Lake Jackson, Texas, when they want to beat the shit out of someone who's done nothing wrong and put them in the, in the ER. What does this have to do with the murder of Rebecca Schaeffer in California in 1989? Well, the connection or the nexus is during those 3 years, at some point, he was able to get her license plate number off her car. It wasn't a matter of whether he filmed it, wrote it down, or memorized it. That has nothing to do with anything. Government held the information that went along with a person's license plate number and included what? Their address. And it had to be an actual address. At the end of 3 years, when it was obvious that he was not going to have a relationship with the young actress, and he decided, well, if I can't have her, no one else can, he showed up at her front door, and when she opened the door, he shot her dead with the .357 Magnum revolver. Now you see, even though he had her license plate number, he didn't have her address information. He had no way to access that information through the database that government was holding on to. But who did have access was the private investigator he hired. The private investigator did what private investigators do. They hunt down information. And whether he called in a favor or he had connections within law enforcement or the DMV, he was able to get her address and then pass it on to Bardo. And that's how Bardo showed up at her front door. There were no privacy laws in effect that held the government's feet to the fire in terms of protecting the information from getting into the hands of someone like Bardo, a true sociopath. Her tragic death led to the nation's first anti-stalking laws being enacted. Those laws established bedrock privacy protocols when it came to protecting the information associated with someone's private license plate number or numbers. You had to be authorized to seek it, and you had to be authorized to hand it out to those who were authorized to seek it. So it worked both ways. trying to get the information and then giving out the information. And it was only a few years later when the federal government got involved. Under the Bill Clinton administration, they enacted the Driver's Privacy Protection Act of 1994. In terms of federal law, it's very comparable to HIPAA, Hospital Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996.
Who enforces the Driver's Privacy Protection Act, 1994? The Driver's Privacy Protection Act, enacted in 1994, safeguards the personal information of drivers. This legislation restricts access to personal data held by state motor vehicle departments. The act aims to prevent misuse of sensitive information, such as names, addresses, and phone numbers. Enforcement of this act primarily falls under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Department of Justice.
And that is the somewhat nebulous nexus that connects the dots between the murder of a beautiful young Hollywood actress in California in 1989 and the morbidly stupid cops in modern-day law enforcement who think it's a crime to take a picture of a license plate or a video of a license plate, excluding the fact that not only is it not, but what about if you memorized it or you wrote it down on the palm of a hand or the back of a very convenient envelope? So remember the important takeaway. So what if someone knows a license plate number or how they capture the information? The issue is, what can the public do with the license plate number? And the answer is essentially nothing. No more letting the government flip the script. The government says you have to have a license plate, therefore you have to have a license plate number. And we're going to assign it, and we're going to gather it, we're going to keep it in databases, which means it's 100% our responsibility to protect it. If the system falls apart, you can place 100% of the blame on the government.